so that.
I'll take your time. Take your time.
Yes.
So, how is Nisha ji doing? Your principal.
So she's doing fine, absolutely fine.
So I know her very well, and your former principal, Mrs. Sneh Mahajan.
Yes, sir.
She is the real mentor of your college.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So great regards for her. So does she come to the college these days?
No, sir. She, the former principal?
Yeah, Mrs. Sneh Mahajan.
No, sir. Like it's been a while since she was in the college.
So Japneet, what's your subject? What do you teach?
Sir, I'm taking up commerce. So I'm taking
Commerce. Okay. So these will be commerce students, I gather?
Yes, sir. Commerce, like BBA, BCom, first, second, third.
Sure. Sure. So yesterday I was at Khalsa College. I delivered this lecture on IPR. So every college has this innovation cell, which is it's a good gesture, but I am not sure whether this innovation cell in colleges like yours or Khalsa College, government colleges, is it really meaningful? Because I was in one of the meetings in Delhi, so where these things were discussed, it should be introduced in colleges. These were primarily meant for technical colleges, engineering colleges. So when we do not have any research in colleges, it's very difficult to understand these things.
Yes, sir.
Innovation, technology, readiness level. I mean, to be honest, even in college universities, 90%, maybe more than that, they have no idea what TRL is. Okay?
Yes, sir. We are trying in that regard also.
Right. I know like you people are trying, but how good this would be, even my lecture to commerce students. Okay, it's a knowledge, it is right. But commerce and IP, yes, in a way you can say that, but students of undergraduate level, I'm not sure whether they would enjoy this. I'm trying to make as simple as possible this lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that.
So what I feel is the innovation cell of Punjab University campus, that should be actively involved in all the centers which are in colleges. It should be like a hub and spoke model. You people are like satellite centers or nodal centers. So first the faculty has to be trained. Then only you can impart these things to the students.
Absolutely.
So I suggested you should approach this council. They should come. They might have some faculty development program or some maybe 1 or 2 day workshop. So all the basics, they are exposed to you. Then you can invite these to your college maybe for 1 day workshop or something like that.
So shall we begin, sir?
Oh, anytime.
Okay, sir.
Oh boy, there are 77 others, more than 100.
Yes, sir.
Let's see how many are there after I finish my talk.
I know, sir. So don't worry about that. We'll be sure that they're intact.
I'm not a great fan of this online thing. Sometimes, it's very hard to hear this cracking. Sometimes it's just snaps. So, जो सारा जो मजा है ना, giving offline, it has its own taste. Indu ji, namaskar. Sidhe, good morning, bete.
Actually, sir, my sound was not working properly.
Sorry?
Good morning, sir. My sound was not working properly, so I couldn't respond back.
Precisely this is what I was telling. So, anyhow, so let's hope everything remains in order. So go ahead, Japneet, whenever you are ready.
Okay, sir, fine. A very good morning to all of you. I heartily welcome you all on behalf of the institution's Innovation Cell 4.0 of MCMDAV College for Women to an expert talk on process of innovation development and technology readiness level and commercialization of lab technologies and tech transfer. We are privileged to have Professor Rupinder Tiwari, IPR Chair Professor, sponsored by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, founder and former chairperson, Department of Microbial Biotechnology, Punjab University, Chandigarh, as our resource person. MCMDAV College for Women, an institution that has been the portal for quality education right from its inception in 1968 in the memory of Justice Meerchand Mahajan. It is for the value-based instruction strategy offered here that MCM has been re-accredited with an A grade from NAC and has been ranked as one of the topmost colleges of the region for the last consecutive 3 years by reputed national periodicals like India Today and The Week. MCM is the only college in the region to get the Star Status Award from the Government of India, which has helped the college towards giant progressive leaps in the field of science. On behalf of the MCM family, I take this opportunity to welcome our resource person, Professor Rupinder Tiwari. He has a specialization in the fields of microbiology and biotechnology. Sir is a PhD in microbiology from Punjab University, Chandigarh, as well as from University of London, UK. Sir is a postdoctoral fellow from Auckland University, USA and Washington University, USA. Sir has a number of achievements to his credit. To name a few, he has published over 100 research papers in international journals and published 7 books in various domains like microbiology, biology, biotechnology, industry, academia, and intellectual property. He is also a recipient of Commonwealth Academic Staff Scholarship awarded by the British Council UK and Rockefeller Biotechnology Fellowship awarded by the Rockefeller Foundation USA. He's been the elected member of PU Syndicate for a while. Then he's also been the Dean Faculty of Sciences. Sir has 1 patent application filed in around 2018. He's the chairperson, Department of Biotechnology, Punjab University, Chandigarh, founder and chief coordinator, DST Center for Policy Research, founder and chief coordinator by Government of India, sponsored by Center for Innovation Cluster in Biotechnology, founder coordinator, Chandigarh Innovation and Knowledge Cluster, founder, Chandigarh Chapter Association of Microbiologists of India, director, Honorable Center for Industry Institute Partnership Program Director, DST sponsors sophisticated analytical instrumentation facility, developed industry academia, established IA cluster, member of various committees set up by Government of India for enhancing technology innovations, entrepreneurship, patents and technology transfer. Sir, we are honored by your presence at this webinar. Now, may I request all the students to turn on their cameras for a group picture? Okay. Now I request you, sir, to kindly commence the session.
Okay, thank you, Jagmeet, for the kind words. Let me set up my presentation. So my slide is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, great. So a very good morning, my dear students. and the colleagues, my colleagues, all you college professors, I mean, they are just like myself in the campus. Uh, See, the topic which I was given by Dr. Japni, that is about innovation, commercialization, and technology readiness level. As far as my thinking goes, these things, they are more appropriate for the students who are doing engineering, or they are doing some biotechnology, something like that. For the students of commerce, it might become very difficult to understand these terms. So I thought of talking on something which might be of some use to you in near future. We can talk about innovation, all these things at a later stage, but what I'm going to talk about today, that will make more sense. So my topic is on intellectual property, and more commonly people are aware of intellectual property rights. As a matter of fact, it should be intellectual property. The rights becomes a part of it. Okay. Slides moving for me. Got it. Okay, before we talk about intellectual property, let's just understand what does the word property mean to you. So for a common man, the word property is associated with if you have a land, if you have a house, or if you have a gold at home. So these are the things we associate with the property. Okay. And one thing which is common in all these types of this property is all a tangible property. These are the examples of tangible property. What is tangible property? Tangible means that we can see with our naked eye. So iske liye, to buy these things, all you need is money. You don't have to apply your mind. If you have deep pockets, you can buy gold, you can buy house, you can buy land. Okay. Whereas we are going to talk about the property which is not visible, what we call as intangible property. Okay, the property which is not visible. And what is the intangible property? That is the property which we create with the help of our mind. We think of something, we have a concept in our mind, and then we work on it to bring it to reality. So intangible property is whatever is the creation of the mind. जो mind के अंदर जो भी आपके thought process है, that is invisible. Okay, but this is a gold mine for intangible property, our brain. Okay, so the property which is created with the ingenuity of the mind, with the involvement of the mind, with the application of the mind, is called intellectual property. Okay, so intellectual property is the one which is created with the help of our intellect. All right, this is an intangible property, but this property, if we want to enjoy the rights of this property, this has to be converted, the intangible thought process has to be converted into a tangible one. What does it mean? What we thought about, suppose you want to create a medicine. Okay, first is you'll think in your mind how you're going to make that medicine. Okay, once the process is clear, then you will do the actual experiments and you will come out with the medicine. So medicine is the tangible property which has been created with the help of your intellect. Just to give you the example of intellectual property, I mean, you come across so many things which have associated with intellectual property, or we call it IP. The first example is your drugs and antibiotics. जो फार्मा सेक्टर है, इंडस्ट्रीज के अंदर जो भी आपकी ड्रग्स बनती हैं फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द मैनकाइंड, एंटीबायोटिक्स बनते हैं, वैक्सीन्स बनते हैं. वी ऑल आर अवेयर ऑफ दीस मॉडर्ना वैक्सीन्स, फाइजर वैक्सीन दीस डेज. जितनी भी आपकी क्रॉप्स हैं, आपकी ट्रांसजेनिक क्रॉप्स हैं, दिस इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ ए बीटी कॉटन जिसको इंसेक्ट्स नहीं लगते. Another category is your literature. So whatever you write, I mean, it's with the help of your mind. You think about something, you write it, that becomes your intellectual property. Then the architects, they create wonderful designs. उनका भी दिमाग लगता है इस चीज के लिए. You don't have to have an education like a graduation or PhD degree to have an intellectual property. Even an illiterate person is intellectual. And the classical example is the craftsman. Look at the beautiful pots, etc., what they make for us. And still giving you more examples, this is an example of fulkari. I'm sure all of you are aware of fulkari, which is quite prevalent in Punjab, Haryana, and certain parts of Rajasthan also. So फुलकारी को बनाने के लिए भी बहुत दिमाग चाहिए. It's very unique to this region. Making of films, making of these Ayurvedic medicines, जो बहुत पुरानी चली आ रही हैं for centuries together, right? Then this is a logo of McDonald's. Okay, so जो भी logos बनते हैं उसमें भी दिमाग लगता है आपका. Similarly, the design of so many things. I'm just giving an example of a car here. And these are your circuits, integrated circuits or chips, which is the major or the most crucial component of your mobiles, laptops, televisions, just to name a few. These are all examples of intellectual property. So, जो मैंने भी examples दिए हैं आपको, so they have got a specific name. So what we call it, different categories, different kinds of IPs. The ones IP for your drugs, vaccines, it is known as patents. Another is trade secrets, which I didn't talk about. Shortly, I'll be telling you about this, somewhat related with patents. Third category is your copyrights and related rights. In this, you have your books and articles, movies, architectural craftsmanship, the examples मैंने दिए हैं आपको. So they all become part of the copyright and related rights. Logos come under trademarks, designs come under industrial designs, plant varieties, जो मैंने बताई थी, we call them as plant varieties. Then these chips, etc., they are known as SICLD, Semiconductor Integrated Circuits Layout Design. Few more examples. Your fulkari example that comes in geographical indications. And Ayurvedic medicines, they become a part of your traditional knowledge. So by and large, we have got 9 different categories of intellectual property. Okay. I don't think I'll have time to discuss about all of them in detail. So briefly, I'll just touch upon patents and copyrights a little bit in detail. And for others, I mean, it will be just 1 or 2 slides. So my purpose is just to expose you to the world of intellectual property. And believe me, at least one category, I mean, that one can associate with anybody, any human being. That is the copyrights. We'll talk about that. Okay, so you have suppose you got this something and you feel this can be an intellectual property, but how you become the owner of intellectual property? Just by thinking and then executing your thought process, getting a product. Okay. So that means you have invented something, you have made something which was not present earlier in the public domain. कि पहले किसी को उसकी knowledge नहीं थी. So you are the first one to create that product. Okay, you have created that product, but to enjoy the rights, to become an owner of that, that's a separate category. Okay, once you have done everything, you have the product with you. So then how do you become the owner of this? Legally, how do you become the owner? Okay. So uske liye, what you do, the first and foremost thing is, you have to register whatever you've done, your unique product or process, whatever you have to register your IP, it's not the IP as yet, that product which you have in mind, with the government agency for seeking ownership of the IP. Okay. So you can call it register your potential IP with government agency for seeking the ownership. अब register कैसे करते हैं? For registration, you have to file an application form. Fill an application form. Okay. For each category, there is a dedicated application form. Okay. So usme you write in detail the process. What you are claiming as IP, what is it? What is its use? कैसे काम किया आपने? So everything you have to write it down so that any other person can duplicate it and replicate it. Okay, so in that application you fill it, you submit to the government agency. Oh yes. So before you submit that application form, you got to make sure that your product, whatever you have made, that is unique, that is novel. कि भी वो पहले ऐसा प्रोडक्ट कहीं भी नहीं अवेलेबल नहीं है आपका. So you got to be very sure about that. So उसके लिए आपको सारा लिटरेचर सर्वे करना पड़ता है, which you call as prior art search. आजकल बहुत अच्छे इंटरनेट सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं, with the help of that you can find out, you put in the words, जो आपने डालने हैं. So then you try to figure out कि भी कोई ऐसी चीज प्रोडक्ट जो है is already available तो नहीं है. So once that prior art search has been carried out and you are satisfied कि भी वो जो भी मैंने बनाया है that is unique, then you fill an application form. Okay, so application form, when this is submitted to the agency, तो एजेंसी क्या करती है कि वो एप्लीकेशन जो है आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन विच इज इन द एप्लीकेशन, दे पुट इट इन द पब्लिक डोमेन. उनके अपने जर्नल्स होते हैं, सो विच एनीबडी कैन एक्सेस, राइट. एवरी वीक जर्नल्स के अंदर वो जो है जिसकी पोटेंशियल आईपी का डाटा है जो आपका है, वो उसको उसमें डिस्क्लोज कर दिया जाता है टू द पब्लिक, सो दैट एक तो आपने अपना काम कर लिया है, प्रायर आर्ट कर ली, ओके, बट देन यू मे बी बायस्ड, चीजें आपने ना बताई हो knowingly or unknowingly. So when it is in the public domain, everybody knows it all over the world, that information goes कि भी इसके लिए आईपी क्लेम के लिए ये फॉर्म भरा गया. If anybody has an objection, please do that. So कोई कह दे कि भी this kind of product already exists, so then he can challenge that. तो वो जो चीज है, if somebody challenges it, और जो गवर्नमेंट की एजेंसी है, so those questions और queries जो हैं, they come to you, okay, to the potential owner, जिसने applicant है जो उस application का, so he has to justify that. Okay, so if you can justify it, then उसके बाद जो application जो है, अगर यहीं पर ही आपका quite possible कि आपकी details of applications, once they are put in the public domain, somebody objects it and their objections are accepted by the agency, आपकी application वहीं पर reject हो जाती है. If it is not rejected, then जो experts होते हैं उस field के, तो government जो agency जो है उनको examiners कह देते हैं, experts कह देते हैं, so they evaluate your application. Conditions for registrations are thoroughly checked. तो हर application में जो IP generate जो आपने करना है उसके लिए कुछ मिनिमम कंडीशंस होती हैं, और एक कंडीशन विच इज कॉमन इन ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ दिस इज नोवेल्टी, कि वो प्रोडक्ट ऑलरेडी इट्स ए नोवेल, इट्स ए यूनिक, इट्स वन ऑफ इट्स काइंड, अभी तक मार्केट में कहीं भी किसी ने नहीं देखा. तो जो सब कंडीशंस जो हैं, दे लुक एट दैट. सो वंस दोस कंडीशंस आर फुलफिल्ड, देन experts are satisfied. So once they are satisfied, IP is registered in the name of the applicant. फिर आपको जाके वो आपको register हो जाता है कि now this he or she is the owner of that IP. Okay, so this is how you become the owner of the IP. Now, once you become the owner of the IP, what does it really mean? So legally, then you have some rights which are legally provided by the government to you. So applicant gets the exclusive rights, जिनको कहा जाता है intellectual property rights, as provided by the code of the law. Okay. So an IP owner has a right to decide who may or may not use a registered IP. जो आपका IP है, you can use it any way you like. You can exploit it for the benefit of financially, even it may boost your image, your CV, whatever it is. So जैसे भी आप यूज करते, you are the exclusive owner of that. You can give it to somebody. In other words, the IP cannot be commercially made, used, distributed, imported, or sold by others without the IPR's consent. आपके पास ये अथॉरिटी है कि उसको आपने एक्सप्लॉइट करना है कमर्शियली, या किसी इंडस्ट्री को आपने सेल आउट कर देना है, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को देना है, पब्लिशर्स को देना है अपना लिटरेचर. So it is totally your discretion. कि आपने क्या करना है। हाँ, इफ somebody infringes your IPR, you may take him to court. कि प्रोडक्ट तो आपने बना लिया, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल पेनिसिलिन आपने बना ली, ओके, इट्स एन एंटीबायोटिक बना लिया आपने, राइट? So you have the right for this legally, and if some company makes penicillin, you can take them to court. Maybe he is not authorized. I'm the one who is only authorized. Okay? So if somebody infringes your IPR, you can take him to court. Now, there are certain exceptions to the IPR. When we say exception to IPR, what does it mean? If in certain cases, one can use intellectual property without seeking owner's permission. Suppose मेरे पास ओनर मैं हूं, किसी पेटेंट का मैं ओनर हूं, राइट? बट इन सम केसेस which are legally permissible, I can use that product, that IP, without seeking owner's permission. So what are those conditions of this thing? Cases. You are safe if IP is not used for commercial gains or otherwise. आपने जो IP product है उसको यूज कर लिया, मगर उससे आपको कोई कमर्शियल बेनिफिट नहीं हो रहा, आपको कोई उससे आपकी पर्सनैलिटी एनहांस नहीं हो रही, तो कोई उसके साथ ऐसा एसोसिएशन नहीं है, देन यू कैन यूज दैट. सो दैट मीन्स यू कैन यूज इट फॉर योर पर्सनल यूज. अगर आपने कोई डाउनलोड कर लिया कोई आर्टिकल नेट के ऊपर, उसको सेव कर लिया अपने डेस्कटॉप के ऊपर, पेन ड्राइव में ले लिया, तो ओनली फॉर योर पर्सनल यूज, आपने सिर्फ आप ही यूज करना है, उसको आगे पास ऑन नहीं करना. ओके, इट इज ओके. यू कैन यूज आईपी फॉर टीचिंग पर्पसेस. दिस इज फॉर आवर टीचर्स. जब हमें टीच करना है तो वी कैन यूज इट, वी डोंट हैव टू टेक एनी परमिशन. रिसर्च करनी है जो आपने, यू डोंट हैव टू टेक एनी परमिशन. सी ये कुछ एक्सेप्शंस होती हैं कि भी आप यू कैन यूज इट अंडर दीस सर्कमस्टांसेस. ओके, इसके लिए आपको परमिशन की जरूरत नहीं है, एंड दीज आर नेसेसरी. अगर ये एक्सेप्शंस नहीं दी जाएंगी तो इतनी R&D नहीं हो सकेगी, इतनी इनोवेशन नहीं होगी. ओके, क्योंकि आपने कोई R&D की, से फॉर एग्जांपल आपने एक ड्रग बना ली, ड्रग में मार्केट में आ गई, उस ड्रग के साइड इफेक्ट्स हैं. सो व्हेन द साइंटिस्ट कम टू नो कि ये ड्रग के ये साइड इफेक्ट्स हैं, देन एनी साइंटिस्ट कैन वर्क ऑन इट, उसके साइड इफेक्ट्स को कम कर दे या साइड से बिल्कुल ही बंद कर दे, राइट? तो ही कैन ओनली डू इट बिकॉज उसको रिसर्च करनी है इसके ऊपर, राइट? सो रिसर्च करेगा तभी तो आगे बात बनेगी ना. तो जिसमें राइट है जिसके पास, वो कितनी रिसर्च कर लेगा. सो एक्सेप्शंस आर गिवन फॉर सर्टेन रीजंस टू बूस्ट द इनोवेशन, वो इनोवेशंस जो कि मैनकाइंड के बेनिफिट में हो. Next is that IPR are territorial in nature. Yeah, it's a very heavy statement. Please listen carefully. What does it mean? IP registered in India is valid only for Indian territory. अब मैं कह रहा हूं IPRs are territorial in nature. कि अगर मैंने कोई इंडिया के अंदर गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी के अंदर एप्लीकेशन फाइल किया, मुझे उसका पेटेंट ग्रांट हो गया है, so that patent is valid only for इंडिया के लिए, जो इंडिया की जो टेरिटरी है तो उसी में वैलिड है. इट इज नॉट वैलिड फॉर एनी अदर कंट्री. आपने कोई भी इन्वेंशन की, इसको पेटेंट यहां ले लिया आपने, बट somebody कैन, दैट इंफॉर्मेशन इज इन पब्लिक डोमेन, तो यूएस के अंदर somebody कैन मेक दैट प्रोडक्ट. ओके, सो अगर आपने वहां भी अपने राइट्स एक्सरसाइज करने हैं, देन यू हैव टू फाइल एन एप्लीकेशन इन दैट कंट्री, राइट? So similarly, किसी ने यूएस में पेटेंट ले लिया और इंडिया में नहीं लिया, तो then you can exploit that patent in India. So this is what we mean IPR are territorial in nature. So जहां जहां आपने अपने पेटेंट को एक्सरसाइज करना है, एक्टिव करवाना है, तो वहां आपको एप्लीकेशन फाइल करनी है. ओके, और वो कंट्री इज एट ए फ्रीडम कि आपकी एप्लीकेशन को एक्सेप्ट करे या रिजेक्ट करे, उनके अपने लॉस हैं. Not valid in any other country. One is to register his or IP in countries he or she wishes to exercise the IP. ये बहुत important चीज है, but please bear in mind. Now, गवर्नमेंट ने जब आपको आईपीआर दिए, तो आईपीआर आपको यानी कि भी थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ आपके पास एक्सरसाइज करोगे वो, देयर इज ए पीरियड व्हाट वी कॉल ए वैलिडिटी ऑफ आईपी प्रोटेक्शन। इसको सर्टेन पीरियड है, उसी के अंदर आपको जो राइट्स हैं उस पीरियड के अंदर ही आप एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो अपने राइट्स। लाइक पेटेंट्स का जो है कि द डे यू फाइल एन एप्लीकेशन, उसके 20 साल तक आप जो है पेटेंट्स को, तो आपका राइट है। आफ्टर 20 years anybody can make it, ओके। जैसे इंसुलिन है, उसका पेटेंट खत्म हो चुका है, कोई भी बना सकता है। पेनिसिलिन, एम्पिसिलिन, दी सब बहुत पहले बनी थी, सो एनीबडी कैन एक्सप्लॉइट इट एंड मेक इट। जो ट्रेड सीक्रेट्स होते हैं, विल टॉक अबाउट इट, क्या है इंफिनिटी, उनके लिए कोई टाइम पीरियड नहीं है। कॉपीराइट्स एंड रिलेटेड राइट्स के अंदर आपके पास क्लोज टू लाइक 60 years है। यस, हेलो,
Jasleen, kindly unmute. Sorry, kindly mute your mic.
okay, so copyrights and related rights is about 60 years. Trademarks are for 10 years. Industrial designs for 10 years. Plant varieties depends, crops are 15 years, killer trees for 18 years. Then these chips जो हैं, integrated circuits, about 10 years. Geographical indication and traditional knowledge, not applicable. बताऊंगा आपको क्यों मैं, why I have written these things. Now, remember that IP rights are provided by the government only if the novel product or process is displayed in the public domain. ये आपको तभी राइट्स मिलेंगे for this time period, जबकि in return you will put it in writing and submit to the government agency कि वो प्रोडक्ट कैसे बनाया है आपने, okay? So this was in nutshell an overall picture of your intellectual property, and slightly I'll talk about now each and every patent category. अब पेटेंट्स क्या चीज होते हैं, एग्जाम्पल तो मैंने दे दिया था आपको एक, okay? So patent is an exclusive right granted for an invention. It could be a product or a process. क्या मतलब? Product is just like your penicillin, but how did you make it? What were the steps involved in making it? What was the raw material used? That's a process. So you can patent the process or a product or both. दोनों आप कर सकते हो. Okay? Now, I've used the word granted for an invention. So one has to be very careful. What is invention and what is discovery? Discovery is finding something which already exists. जो already present है यहाँ पर. Like Columbus discovered America. I'm a microbiologist. I discovered a new microbe, new bacteria. जो already botanist, he may be come out with something. Forest में गया, कोई नई plant variety मिल गई. Okay? So these are the things which already exist, but I was the one or somebody was the first to find it out. Okay, that is a discovery. We discovered it. Invention is the creation of a product or a process which doesn't already exist. कि इसमें जो है कि you made something with the application of your mind, and that process or product, it never existed earlier. Okay, it is absolutely new. So when we say invention, हमारे दिमाग में क्या आता है? Telephone was invented by Bell. Bulb was invented by Thomas Alva Edison. Radio was invented by Marconi. ये inventions थी. तो ये these were the game changers. Okay? Now, day-to-day patented stuff हम जो use कर रहे हैं, just you have every, you touch it. I mean, most of the time it will have one patent or more than one. Toothpaste, toothbrush, watch, pen, television, air conditioner, mobile, fan. सभी के अंदर these are patented products now. Similarly for food products, French fries, what you get in McDonald's, same type of French fries you will not get in other place like KFC. Okay. Cold drinks, peanut butter, cornflakes, pizza. हर एक का पिज्जा हट का अपना है, डोमिनोज का अपना पिज्जा है. So these are all patented stuff. Now, अब पेटेंट्स को ग्रांट करने के लिए once you file an application, what are the minimum things which are seen in the application? What novelty के बारे में मैंने आपको बता दिया था. Okay, so there are two other conditions which need to be met. One is that product or process must have an industrial application. Industrial application, and one is, and the third is inventive step, not obvious to a person skilled in that art. तो जिसको नाम है माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट, अगर मैं माइक्रोबायोलॉजी को इन्वेंशन करूंगा तो माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट शुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड और ही शुड बी कन्विंस कि भाई ये मैं समझ सकता हूँ इसने क्या किया, बट ओनली ही कुड डू इट. He could do it because he thought of it. It is not very obvious. Give me any microbiologist could do it.
So we are not able to hear you. So there seems to be some connectivity issue. कर रही हैं. Yes, students, there seems to be some connectivity issue at sir's end. He'll be just joining in a moment, but make sure that all of you have prepared enough questions so that we can have a healthy question answer session.
Since all of you are from a commerce background, if you remember, we also study intellectual property rights in our marketing, and we would be studying in the next upcoming semester as well. I'll be teaching you about that. So we will be doing in marketing or company law. We always study about it, right? So I hope you are able to correlate it with all the subjects, and you're prepared with few questions in the end. In case you have a question, you can put in the chat box as well. Okay. So all the logos, all the slogans, all of them are, they fall under intellectual property rights.
व्यस्त है.
If you remember, you would have seen a patent Coca-Cola's bottle as well, as was giving us the examples of the various patents in the marketing area. So even the Coca-Cola's bottle is a trademark, and you can't copy the particular red color of Coca-Cola or be the shape of the bottle. So these are the very real life examples related to intellectual property rights. So it's a very correlated topic. So search for more examples related to intellectual property rights. And in case you want to start a business and you want to have a patent of something, this is the process sir is telling us. Just hold on. We are getting back with our guest speaker. Girls, we have circulated the attendance sheet, the first attendance sheet.